Saltine crackers. Why can't we require businesses to let people have their phones on them and require tornado nuclear basements every X feet in warehouses? Hell, why don't we require that every X miles in cities all over? Also, there are weather stations like what you see in parks or sports fields that can predict loads of bad weather, including if the setup is right for a tornado to form. T-Watch. Basically, there are so many. We could.
I mean, there's a story from 2004 Chicago that a warehouse owner did do that. And it was a happy story about how this warehouse collapsed, but he had reinforced the bathrooms to be a storm shelter. That should just be mandated. We shouldn't be reliant on the foresight of a good warehouse owner.
When you hear people say regulations killing businesses, this is what they're talking about. They don't want OSHA to come in and say, you have 50 people working in this business, in this factory, you need to have reinforced, tornado areas in the event that there's a tornado. They don't want the National Labor Relations Board to say, like, well, you're protected if you, if there is you could have OSHA, I guess, or maybe it's probably OSHA, say, like, in the event that there's a tornado watch within 25 miles of your place of business, it's illegal for you to fire your employees if they leave. And that is exactly what we saw in Mayfield, Kentucky. 8 people died in that factory. And apparently there was a lot of people in the factory who were asking to leave. This is from NBC News. As the catastrophic tornado approached this city on Friday, that's Mayfield, employees of a candle factory at Mayfield Consumer Products, which would later be destroyed, heard the warning sirens and wanted to leave the building. But at least 5 workers said supervisors warned employees that if they would be fired if they left their shifts early. As word of the coming storm spread, as many as 15 workers beseeched managers to let them take shelter at their own homes, only to have their request rebuffed. 8 people died in that factory. Of course, they're saying, oh, that didn't happen. But what possible reason would multiple employees of the factory claim this if it wasn't true? And understand, what the regulation would do in that instance is allow the workers to say, F you, I'm leaving because I'm protected. My job is protected. I'm going to have a legal basis in which to sue you, or I'm going to have some type of recourse. So when you hear people complain about regulations, there are some regulations that are stupid, without a doubt. There are some regulations that are licensing requirements that are actually propagated by the business themselves to keep people from entering. But the idea that regulations, generically speaking, are problematic is absurd. Any more than the idea of laws are bad is absurd. And this is why you want those type of regulations. We can require businesses to do this. It is just a question as a society, do we have the political will? Between the 101 and the 5, Ball and Cheney, to me, getting upset at the word cracker is essentially a reaction whenever our collective delusion and attempts to deny the atrocity of chattel slavery is confronted. Like psychologically, whenever someone's delusions of grandeur are confronted, they lash out, without a doubt. It is our inability as a society to come to grips with both our history of racism and its legacy, particularly structural.
The material inheritance of it.
Yes. It's our inability to come to grips with that as a society. We huge portions of our society lash out.